Hey everyone, I'm here at CrossFit Crude in Fort McMurray with Shay and Danielle, and we'll just be going over some tips and warm-ups for some push-ups.
Perfect.
Sounds good. Let's get started.
All right, guys, so we are gonna go over some different tips and cues for proper push-ups to make sure that you are avoiding any sort of shoulder impingement or injury. So Coach Danielle here is going to demonstrate what I'm talking about as we work through. So before we get started on any push-ups, we're just gonna get into a little bit of shoulder movement. So about 10 to 15 reps. Usually I would do about 2 rounds of this just to get some movement in your shoulders. So we're just gonna start with some basic arm swings. And then from there, we're just gonna move into some swimmers. Some swimmer rotations. And then big circles. And then opposite direction. All right, so when we get into the push-up, first we're gonna start off just in your basic plank position. Good.
I'll follow along.
What we're gonna do first, for a little bit more of a warm-up, we're gonna do what's called a scapular retraction. So you're gonna cave right through here, bringing your shoulder blades together, and then you're gonna push all the way out, rounding your back. The whole time you want to ensure that your core is tight. You're not letting your lower back sag, and you're also not piking your hips up so that you're in kind of like a triangle. If at all you need to drop down to your knees to do this, you can drop it from your knees if you need a little bit more of that support. Good. This is also going to start warming up your wrists. Good. From there, when we start getting into the proper push-up, we want to be down in that plank position. And again, if at all you need to drop to your knees, that's totally fine. You just want to make sure if you are dropping to your knees, you're making sure it is still a full body movement. So you want to make sure that your back is nice and flat, and then your shoulders are directly over top of your wrists. We don't want to be pushing back or pushing forward. From here, what you want to make sure for proper alignment is you see this rotation of the elbows. We want to make sure that we're rotating our elbows back. So that way when we get into that proper push-up, we're allowing our arms to pull back versus caving our shoulders forward. So we want to avoid any sort of shoulder rotation forward. So you want to pull back, bring your elbows back, and then when you're starting your push-up, you're bringing your chest down, making sure that your back is staying nice and flat. Good. So when you do a push-up, it is a full body movement. So you're not just pushing through your arms. You want to make sure that you're squeezing your legs, you're squeezing your glutes. So as you push up, I want you to think not pushing through your arms, squeeze your core and pull your core off the ground. There you go. So that'll keep you in a bit of a flatter position. All right. If you guys need scales at all, a really good scale, you can either do this if you have to a table, to a couch. We usually scale here on the rig. We usually scale to the rig. If we're doing a large quantity of push-ups, we want to ensure that we are obviously in a safe position. So the best way to scale is just putting it up into a little bit of a raise. So you can start off of a wall if you're brand new to push-ups and just do a wall push-up. We use the rig here in the CrossFit Crude. For this reason, we can now keep our body in that plank position. We're not breaking at the knees. And also this is really good because it's a good indicator to track your progress. So if you come into a workout and you have, say, 100 push-ups, you know that's not going to be manageable on the ground. You can set it up here. If you come into a workout and say there's 20 push-ups in a workout, maybe set it down a little lower in the rig. So you're keeping your body in that plank position, but you're still able to do a safe push-up. That's it for push-ups from the ground. Let's start on some handstands. All right, guys, so we're gonna get into handstand push-ups. So for handstand push-ups, we do a little bit of a different warm-up. Best way we find, just grab yourself a plate. Can be a 10-pound, 5-pound, whatever you have at home. Make sure it is wide enough for the base of your arms though. So usually we start with just some plate raises just to get that mobility. When you're at the top, make sure that you're really pushing your head all the way through and you're coming to a full lockout position. Good. So again, couple reps, 10 to 12 reps, 2 rounds of that. Another one, once you have that plate overhead, just like we did those scapular retractions from the ground, now you're going to do them from a shrug position. Good. That's it. So when you're starting with handstand push-ups, if handstand push-ups are brand new to you, the biggest mental factor to get over is getting upside down, getting up to a wall. So what I like to start with is just get comfortable with being upside down. So we take it right back to what we would learn in kindergarten, would be a teddy bear stand. When we're doing a teddy bear stand, if you need a wall, just have a wall there just as a comfort zone. So if your legs start to fall, you have something to tap onto it. Obviously, as you've built a little bit more shoulder strength, a little bit more core engagement and strength, you can take it away from the wall to challenge your strength on it. So when you're doing your teddy bear stand, you're gonna go down as, think of like a tripod. So your head is the top of the triangle, your shoulder or your hands are gonna come just to the outsides of that. So you're gonna bring your head down, hands just underneath your shoulders. From here, you're just gonna pike your hips up. Slowly walk your knees so they're just resting right on top of your elbows. So this is just getting comfortable in an inverted position. From there, just get comfortable bringing one foot up, bringing the other foot up, and then eventually get comfortable bringing 2 feet up. To build the strength, you're gonna slowly bring those knees in and bringing them up. That is where the good position for the wall is. So if you feel that your legs are starting to fall, you can tap against the wall. Coming out into, so once you've gotten comfortable in an upside down position, now you want to learn how to kick up against the wall. The biggest thing that I can't stress enough, keeping your arms locked out. One thing that's going to want to happen is you're going to want to try and bend your elbows. You want to ensure your arms in a full lockout position. So you're going to bring your hands about 1 hand distance away from the wall. And now from here, with your dominant leg, one leg's gonna stay tucked in, one leg's gonna go out long. Make sure you're really squeezing your core. You're just gonna slowly kick your leg up. Just get comfortable kicking. And what you wanna think of is you're getting that weight shift from your elbow to your elbow, or your palms right to your fingertip. So play around with that weight shift. We're not kicking fully up, we're just getting comfortable kicking upside down. As you get a little bit more comfortable with this, and you can do it by yourself or you can have a partner assist you, is when you go back down, make sure your partner stands on the side with a straight leg. Now you're gonna try and kick all the way up to the wall, and your partner is gonna assist. In this position, once you're comfortable to hold, you're gonna fully push up and out of your shoulders, leaving your elbows straight. And you can drop back down. Big thing we wanna make sure when we kick back up, I'll let you breathe for a second. When we kick back up, we wanna ensure that this area is staying tucked, okay? We never want to arch forward. So if you arch this way, this is going to put your lower back in a really compromising position. So we want to ensure that everything is staying tucked under. So from here, just like we were doing those plate scapula retractions, now if you notice, we're going to do shoulder shrugs. So if you notice, she's going down, back up, pushing her head through, maintaining a tight core. And you can drop. So that would be the first progression to getting into a handstand push-up. From there, now we're gonna get into these handstand push-ups. So we've got the mat. Always when you get into a handstand push-up, ensure that you do have a mat underneath your head. We always start with strict handstand push-ups. We want to ensure that you have the strength and the ability to control dropping versus getting into a kipping handstand, and Danielle will demonstrate them both so you can see what I mean. But first we're gonna start with a strict handstand push-up. So we're gonna kick up. Everything's tight. You're gonna slowly lower yourself all the way to the ground, engaging that core, squeezing the glutes, pressing up and out of that. So if you notice right here, she pushes her head through. On that way up, you look down at the ground. It's gonna keep your neck nice and neutral and safe, and then you push your head through. Once you have the ability to control a strict handstand push-up, you know you're gonna be able to go into a kipping handstand with safely preparing on your neck. So we're gonna get into a kipping handstand push-up. So it's the same setup. You're gonna kick up. When you go down, you're actually gonna relax on your head. Her butt touches the ground, her knees come down into her elbow like this. And now what she's gonna do is she's gonna press through her heels, squeezing her glute, and it's gonna help her kip up into that handstand. So we'll go down into a second rep and kicking through the heel. You always come to a full lockout and you always push your head through at the end. So we really want to ensure we have the strength for a strict before we go into a kipping, because you are gonna be landing quite strongly on your neck. So you wanna make sure that you have the strength to control that. And that's handstand push-ups.
Thank you so much for having me and showing me some tips. It's so awesome because I actually really do want to do some handstands and then added difficulty is some push-ups. So handstand push-ups, great goal for me on the
Awesome.
23rd day maybe. So thank you.
Not a problem.
So come to CrossFit Crude.
Learn to do fun tricks upside down.
Awesome. Thank you.